I don't think I'm African American. I'm a Black American. There has to be a difference between that man with that accent.
Talk to him.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we have
African Americans are better than Africans in any sense of the word. We walk better, we talk better, we dress better.
What is going on with Africans between African Americans?
None of your business.
And man, look at it hurt. Yeah, a lot of them genetically don't grow beard. Some of them do, but a lot of them genetically don't grow beard. So it's a difference between.
I'm starting to think that we are not descendants of Africa. And the reason why I say that is, look at sports. Why is it that the American Africans are so much better than the...
So what is this thing that is trending and going on? African Americans, or some African Americans, or let me say Black Americans, saying they are not Africans. It has become a debate on the internet, and one American public figure made such statement, and Vic Mason replied him, and it has become a back and forth on the internet. Like, this conversation, when are we going to end it? Listen, I don't want to talk much. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. You don't lose anything by liking. Just give the video a thumbs up. Let's go into the videos. Watch what some African Americans are saying, and also what some Africans are saying. Let's come back and talk.
I saw Cameron saying he's not an African and Africa stinks.
I'm not African. Someone went to Africa and told me people stink.
Now, obviously, this is ridiculously disrespectful and ignorant, but I love Killer. So let's approach this empirically. Why don't we do a history of the name Cameron Giles? Giles is a medieval French name originally used by the followers of a one Saint Giles, a nigga that looked like this. Not exactly a striking resemblance, even if you put him in a pink fur. On the other hand, there were plenty of slaveholders named Giles. Written records trace the human beings they enslaved to Africa, oftentimes referring to them as Coromontes if they was from modern-day Ghana, Mandingos if they were from the Sahel, Igbos if they were from modern-day Nigeria. But clearly, the name Giles was passed down from someone who enslaved Africans. Now, if modern science places human beings at 300,000 years old, and the oldest archaeological evidence of Homo sapiens is in Africa, Morocco, South Africa, Ethiopia, then I struggle to understand how 500 years here erases 299,500 years in Africa. Culturally, you resonate with America. Fine, that's a nationality. You may have European or indigenous blood, but your ancestral origin is overwhelmingly African. Take a DNA test. You tell me what it says. I can see Killer being like Cherokee, but you finna have a lot of Nigeria in there, my guy. Don't get mad at me because I love Cam. But like, Africa stinks? Come on. I mean, it stinks everywhere, nigga. My dogs will shit in my backyard. Now my backyard stinks.
Why is it that Black Americans hate Africans?
I don't know. Like, from what I've heard, I guess annoyance that they feel like Black Africans come to the country and they're given preferential treatment because there's this sort of belief that, you know, we work harder and we do this, and but therefore we're like the good model minority. Yeah. Which in turn makes them look bad. Yeah. And that even though, I mean, the FDA and the ADOS lot, they say that they can distinguish who's Black American and who's African. And I can't. They say that there's like so many different, like, you know, you can easily distinguish and all that, which I think is a whole load of cap. There may be some truths to it. Like, at the end of the day, we know how white supremacy works, right? Yeah. And it does absolutely get off on causing division. That's how it's always been. And it's just unfortunate that people are actually buying into it, but they're mad at the wrong people. I just feel like the energy is completely misdirected. And like, even if those differences are there, 'cause I'm going to give them the benefit of doubt and say that there's some element of truth to that. Who is responsible for that?
We need more honesty about the misinformation that's been put towards both of us, because when we've had this discussion multiple times, it's not often we get Black American honesty about the negative stereotypes they have. I say it, we say it, but they're like, no, we were open arms and welcoming. There was definitely negative stereotypes of immigrant Blacks perpetuated by Black Americans. So you can say that you're welcoming, but were you? And similarly, what was projected into into Africa and the Caribbean about Black Americans. Just be really honest about the propaganda that happened, and then we can get to honest dialogue.
How about 100 Africans versus 100 African Americans? Don't get too active in the comments now. If you take 100 area boys from Asaliku versus 100 Americans, who you think got it?
I don't think I'm African American. I'm a Black American. There has to be a difference between that man with that accent.
Talk to him.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we have totally different ancestors. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I had to put it to my roommate like this, because my roommate was born in like Nigeria or something like that. So I had to tell him straight up, you think you Black,
But if they started giving black people reparations, do you think you would get a check? We had a different experience from our ancestors all the way to now. That's why you're not black and I'm not African, because you wouldn't get a reparations check, but I would.
African Americans are better than Africans in any sense of the word. We walk better, we talk better, we dress better. We're more influential. We're one of the most influential groups on the planet, the most impactful groups on the planet. Everybody around here doing hip hop and R&B, you know, but I hardly know anything about Africa.
I'm starting to think that we are not descendants of Africa. And the reason why I say that is, look at sports. Why is it that the American Africans are so much better than the true blood Africans at sports? Really, I want you to think about it. Look at the black American athlete, the Jamaican black athlete, and the actual African athlete. It's a huge difference. If we were descendants of Africa, the Africans would be destroying us in sports. Think about that. Other than cross-country running, what are the Africans really athletic at? Now, yes, there's some onesies and twosies here and there, but the majority don't even compare to us American Africans. Just something to think about. I've always wondered that, why they wasn't on the same level and they're unadulterated.
What's wrong with being African?
Ain't nothing wrong with being African. It's just that I'm not African. I was born in America.
So your bloodline, are you black?
Yeah, I'm black.
Black what? You just black?
I'm a black man, nigga. Black what? Black man, nigga. What are you talking about? I'm black. It's black niggas all over the world. Do that mean they African? It's black niggas and it's black Cubans. It's black niggas everywhere. That don't mean that they African because you black. Black don't mean African.
No, I didn't mean to say that, but we're from Africa, bro. It's the heart of a black man. That's where we from. That's the land of the black man.
I'm not African. If you want to be African, that's on you.
I think the conversation about title and identity is starting to spread. I think more and more people are starting to kind of discuss this topic. But what I really want to know is, do you guys think that by us having been called African American, that's the reason why a lot of people still see us as immigrants? Like they still kind of view us in like that immigrant class, as if we're not really from here, we don't really belong here, because you're attaching a continent to the American identity as it pertains to us. So in a way, it kind of does put, for people who are not familiar with who we are or our history in the country, may be confusing, and it may make them think that we're in the same immigrant boat as everybody else. And hence the reason why people are coming at us like, you guys are next up to be deported. You guys can be deported too. You guys don't belong here too. Like stupid shit like that. And also, do you think that the title should be legally changed? Should there be a legal title for only the descendants of the freedmen? Hence, I might as well go ahead and bring up the petition that is still up on my bio. The link is in my bio, to change our name legally, basically solidifying us as a separate and protected class. So the full petition is still up. We do still need more signatures. So click the link in my bio to sign. I think it only takes a couple of seconds. We're not requiring any donations or anything like that at this point. It's just about signatures. So if you're foundationally Black American, just go ahead and check it out. You can read through the petition, and if it resonates with you or if you have an issue with it, you can DM me and let me know if you think something should be changed. I didn't write the petition, but I do agree with the way that it's written, and still open to suggestions. So
Also, I didn't realize like in the last like 10, 15 years, there's been a very big debate about the use of Black American versus African American. I'm both. I'm a Black American and I am also an African American. Black American to me, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that flattens like where I'm from, because a Black American like can be anyone Black in America in my eyes. And African American denotes that I have slave ancestry. To me, that's what that means. When I say I'm African American, I can go back in my records and stuff like that and go back to slavery. So I'm a descendant of slaves. So I use African American because I feel like that's what gives it the denotation of like, I'm a descendant of slavery in this country. Black American to me could be like, you know, you could be Afro-Latino, you're a Black American. You could be Afro-Caribbean Black American. It's just like, yeah.
What is going on with Africans between African Americans?
None of your business. In other words, Black folk business is Black folk business. To make it simpler, don't worry about the drama happening in a certain community that you're not a part of. We as Black people, especially Afro-Americans, have been addressing the diaspora wars happening within our community, and that's for us to mitigate. And even if you're just genuinely curious, you asking that question is lighting a fire that we're already trying to extinguish. There are white people in the United Kingdom who don't care for white people in the United States. Inquire about that. There are people in France that don't like the way people in Canada speak French. Inquire about that. Across the world in different diasporas, there are many differences that groups have that stem from misunderstandings, but that's for those groups to figure out. And contrary to popular belief, there are a lot of Africans that don't have a problem with African Americans and vice versa, so don't generalize. And that's coming from an African American who's actually been to Africa, hence the shirt. So if it's not your community, don't worry about it.
But I'm gonna put it on record to say that we are not African. I'm gonna say that.
That's another story. We're gonna get into that too.
It's a big difference between so-called African Americans in Africa that's in Africa. And then it's not even called Africa. They don't even call it Africa, but our genetics is different. When you look at I don't want to say the creation of the Caucasian race, but when you look at when they came on the scene, some say 6,000 years. All of my research shows 10,000 years ago. When you look at melanated beings, we have been around on Earth since the beginning of time. So everybody was of a melanin descendant back then. Everybody was Black. So how did you tell if they was different? They had different cultures. They had different body size, different geographical locations. Like when you look at Africans, their skeleton structures are more different than ours. A lot of them are more skinnier than us. When you look at their nasal passage, their noses are shaped different. They are different. You know, I'm not saying that we all are not connected ancestrally, but we are different though. We're very, very different. Even our hair, genetics, you know, an African man, look at his hair. Yeah, a lot of them genetically don't grow beard. Some of them do, but a lot of them genetically don't grow beard. So it's a difference between us. And I don't know why it's such a big thing. They be like, Dr. Yaki, you trying to cause more division. No, I'm not trying to cause more division, but it's a reason why certain so-called African tribes that's been in America for 1,000 years can't be like the Mezi tribe and eat cow and drink cow blood and drink cow's milk. It's a reason. And that's because we lack the enzymes to actually break down. It's called lactase.
And a beef that never made any sense to me, Black Americans versus Africans. What the fuck are we doing? Are we not both niggas? Y'all, the world hates us equally. No one's going to stop you and be like, oh, where are you from? And then treat you differently from a Black person that comes from a different place. The world views us all the same. So what the fuck? Where is the disconnect coming from? Someone explain that. Like, and it's just a whole bunch of bullshit. A lot of bullshit started back when we were younger. Like a lot of the experiences that African kids had growing up, the racist experiences that they had growing up, mostly came from Black Americans, calling African kids African booty scratchers. I don't know if that was in retaliation. You feel me? Because me personally, I never in my life have I ever had to deal with racism from any group. But from stories that I've heard online and from things that I've seen from people around me, that's just what it is. And I've just never understood that, like, we're supposed to be gang. We're supposed to be close, but we just not. And listen, I'm not coming from no group. I'm not coming for Africans. I'm not coming for Black Americans. I ain't coming for nobody. I just want to understand, where is this disconnect coming from? Why do we hate each other so much? Why? And then, y'all, I just seen a video, right? This dude on Instagram was basically talking about like the same thing that I'm talking about right now. And then Black Americans just got up on the in the comment section, pointing the finger and saying, but Africans did this, African did that. Bro, I'm not trying to justify the things that Africans have done and said, because Africans do be saying fucked up things, but it's both groups.
It's constant back and forth. We're not going to point the finger at just one group. It's constant back and forth. And then when this whole entire situation came about boycotting Asian businesses, right? And how Black people were just going to support each other, Black Americans meant just Black American businesses. They're not talking about the Africans. They're not talking about even the Caribbeans. They was just talking, and I'm just like, bro, why are we so divided? Like, dang, like we can't, like, well, like what's going on? I'm just confused, y'all. I'm just confused.
How y'all doing? My name is Raekwon Diamond Kamma, and I've been hearing a lot online about foundational Black Americans versus African immigrants that come here to America and settle and become African Americans. Now, myself personally, I don't have a problem with it, because this is the truth. The only difference between foundational Black Americans and African immigrants is we were here longer. That's the only difference. But we are from Africa, the same as they are from Africa. You see, some Blacks have this ideal that because our cultures are different, we cannot be put in the same category. Sorry, that's hogwash. That's bull. Okay? You see, Black does not describe our culture. It describes our race. If you are a melanated person across the world, you're considered Black. And they don't care what country you're from. I'm sorry, this is just the truth. They don't care where you're from. You're Black. Okay? Regardless if you're from Africa or anywhere else where your skin just happen to be melanated, they see you, they go Black. Okay? So Black does not describe our culture. American describes our culture. African describes our ancestry, or where our bloodline is from. Okay? And unfortunately, it appears that out of all the different groups on this planet, we're the only ones that have a problem with it. Okay? Asian American culture is not the same as Chinese, Korean, or Japanese culture. It's not the same. But do you hear Asian Americans claim or deny or run from the fact that they're Asian? No, they don't. They're Asian American, and they're cool with it. You definitely don't see white people whose culture is definitely different from European culture. White American culture is not the same as European culture. Very different. But you don't hear white Americans being ashamed of their European culture. We just have a problem with it. I don't. As a matter of fact, my family got rid of their slave names and took back African last names. That's why my last name is now Kamau. And I'm so proud of my African last name. It's from Kenya. I love it. So, look, just know this. The only difference between African immigrants and us is that we were here longer. Only difference, but we're all still from Africa, making us all African American. And I'm cool with that. In the meanwhile, I know some of you might have some problems with it. I really don't care. But please, take care of yourselves and start loving one another. Talk to y'all later.
What is the difference between African Americans in the United States and Africans on the continent?
Well, the one thing that I will say is Africans on the continent, Frank, have a deep-seated tradition that they've been able to keep and protect, even though Africa as a whole, all 54 countries pretty much are colonized. You have traditions and dances and things that are rich in culture that goes back thousands and thousands of years prior to recorded history. That is a huge advantage over what we had to create from scraps and genetic engineering, overbreeding, all the things that happened to foundational Black Americans over the course of 400 years. I think that the problem has always been, just to what you said when you were with me in New York, is that there is a severe disconnect and that we don't really have that bridge, but we have been colonized in different ways. When you look at how families have been impacted with all of the propaganda, the media, firestorm of you need to be independent. You've got, the black wave of feminism, which in and of itself has been proven to be funded by the CIA, which really interesting. You start to see the erosion of the Black family. And what I find very interesting from a historical perspective is J. Edgar Hoover actually said the two biggest threats to America is the rise of a Black Messiah and Black unity. What is more unified than a Black family? So if you disrupt that, then you get all the chaos that has come after that over the past 40, 50 years. So I think those are distinct differences.
I am on the side of TikTok right now, where is the African Americans and the Africans beefing over, do we look African? We don't look African. We're not African. We're indigenous America. We're this, we're that. We don't like the Africans and no one eat African food. And I just have to, out of every single thing that Black people should be having conversations about, out of every single thing that we should be fighting about, we're fighting over who looks like who and who doesn't look like what. Have you ever seen white Americans fight about whether they're European descent or not? So many white Americans will literally claim their European side. Oh, I'm Italian American, and they've never been to Italy in their fucking life. African Americans, for some reason, want to be separated from Africans so much, even though they're African Americans. And now they're saying we're not African Americans, we're Black Americans. You were slaves. What? And now they want to boycott. They want to boycott African businesses and African shops and African food because they don't even like African food, and we don't even have any spices in our food. And as an African, I don't give a fuck. I really don't. Y'all can do whatever the fuck you want to do. And to think that this all launched into a new direction because somebody named Jay Versace just don't know how to shut his mouth, bro. It's sad.
I don't know why African Americans and Africans are arguing, because we were literally the same thing. Like, you're not better because you're from Africa, and you're not better because you're from America. We're the same thing. If you're Black, you shouldn't be arguing with no Black person over who's better, baby. You're Black. We're all Black. Who's the better Black, baby? We're Black. Shoot, I didn't even know if that's a real thing that could be happening right now, because every time I see a Black person, I don't wonder if they're African Black or American Black. I'd be like, you're Black. And mind you, this is exactly what the racist people want. They want this type of separation in our community. Like, what are you arguing? If you're one of the people arguing over, you're dumb.
Look, I'm about to not mind my business, but I don't care. I am so enjoying this beef. I don't know what happened. I don't know why y'all Americans went to do that to yourselves. But now the war between Africans and Americans right now, what is going on? Why did you guys go do that to yourselves? Why did you guys... Yo, these Africans are coming for y'all. Obviously, I'm not American. I'm Canadian, but y'all started something that I don't think you were ready for. And there was no purpose to start that. There was no purpose. Excuse me, I just ate. Your girl is digesting. I wish it was African food, no lie. Okay. But yo, the Africans are not holding back in the comments to die for. Like, to die for. My best part is, funny enough, Americans are no longer African Americans. Like, y'all are no longer African Americans. What happened to the African in your American? What happened to that? I never understood the African American thing that Americans like to call themselves when they're literally Black American. But whatever, I'm not gonna get into it. Like I said, I'm not African. But you know what? I am enjoying this beef right there. Y'all went and poked the wrong bear. Y'all went and poked the wrong bear, and I'm here for all that. See, I'm here for all of it. Y'all, when you guys see a video, an African reply to an American, or stitching something not very smart that an American says, go in the comments. Go live your best life in the comments. You will not regret it. Y'all went to poke the wrong bear. Wap kon George. Wap kon George. Wap cherche problem. Wap kon George. Y'all should have just leave them people alone. Leave their food alone. Leave their braiders alone. Just leave them alone. Y'all enjoyed the cheap price for the braids, no? Now y'all want to... Americans, only you would do something like that. I'm here for all of it.
Black Americans, please leave Africans out. I really hope this lands because I'm sick and tired of seeing this conversation on FYP.
But the only videos that have been coming across my feed are the ones of the Africans speaking on us.
It's okay. I promise you, none of us calls you African American. The entire Africa calls you guys Black American. We don't think you're African Americans. We don't even think you're African. You guys are so different from.
One thing about us Black Americans is that we know we're not the same as y'all. We know there's a difference between some of y'all and some of us.
And what culture are you talking about that Africans steal from you? That's the funniest bit I've heard. What culture?
Our fashion, how we style our hair. I've even seen now y'all have y'all reality TV shows. Y'all have like Housewives and other reality TV shows that are fashioned and are very similar to our reality TV show.
Africa has 54 countries and we have over 1 billion tribes. Each tribe is attached to tradition and norms. We do culture things that you don't even have. For example, I am a Muganda from Uganda. That's my tribe. And we have Buganda things that we do in our Buganda kingdom. We have the Basoga, the Banyankole. Do you even know what that is?
Why would I? I'm not Ugandan.
Define culture. What culture do we copy? Do you even have culture?
We have culture, a lot of which y'all are adopting, from the way we talk to what's popular in fashion, the type of music we make. Aren't y'all starting to make drill music? Aren't y'all artists coming to America to get their big break? If y'all culture is so great, why are y'all leaving Africa to come over here?
If I ask you what's your tribe in Black America, like what's your tribe? Do you even know what that is?
Judah. What else?
Give me 3 culture norms that you have or traditions that you do.
Part of our culture is family reunions, cookouts, respecting our elders, putting family first. We have our own culture. Every group of people have some kind of culture. But just because our culture does not look like y'all culture, that don't mean that we don't have culture.
What do you have? What is your staple food?
For the sake of this video, I'll answer this question, but I find this very dumb. Macaroni and cheese, baked beans, black eyed peas, fried chicken, fried pork chop, fried catfish. I could go on. Cornbread. I'm talking about staple food. When y'all literally eat bushmeat. Bushmeat as in whatever you find in the bush, whatever you find in the wild. Y'all eat it? Come on now.
Nothing. So what culture? What culture? We don't quote Martin Luther King. We quote Nelson Mandela.
And if we quote Nelson Mandela, so what?
It is you who flock Africa coming to look for him.
No, we don't.
You'll be flocking Ghana and Nigeria looking for those ancient slave markets. And now all of a sudden you don't want to be attached to slavery.
That's not true. No one over here in America is trying to detach themselves from slavery. Y'all are upset with us because we are telling you that we've been over here in this country, America, for generations upon generations upon generations. Those ties that we've once had to our homeland in Africa were severed many, many years ago. Y'all are upset with us instead of the circumstances that got us here. When in fact, certain African tribes are responsible for our current circumstances.
You see, when it comes to African Americans or Black Americans saying they are not Africans, I don't know how to even describe this whole thing. But the question is, do they believe that they came from Africa to the Americas and also the Caribbeans and all these other places? You understand? How can you even know whether your ancestors were part of the slaves that were taken from Africa to the Americas? Or like, how will you even know? You understand? These people just mixed everyone up, and we have Africans that also were already in the Americas according to history before this slave trade thing started or began. But even those Africans also came from Africa. You understand? So I don't know. I don't get it. Why are we bringing division between us? Like, what's the issue? What at all do we want to achieve with this? You will see African Americans saying Africans don't like them, or let me say I don't even know, like it's a mix up. whether to say African American or whether to say Black American. And you will have the FBAs and the way they even talk about it passionately, like somebody hates them and they don't also like Africans. Bro, listen, the white man has already united us in their minds and how they call us or they see us black. Why are we dividing ourselves? For what reason? What do we want to achieve? Today, if you see an African American in America and an African in America, for instance, an African that has probably lived in America for a very long time or even was born in America, you will not see the difference. There is no difference. So what are we fighting for? For what? Instead of us coming together and pushing one agenda, this is what we are doing to ourselves. And the whites will be laughing at us. What are we doing, Seth? Charlie, we should just stop this and just come together and just unite. Simple. And think about progress than division. Thank you so much for watching.